So today we're going to find our solutions by graphing, which means we're going to find where y equals 0 or what our x equals, right? So when you're factoring, you use the star method or GCF. And in our star method, if it's just x squared plus bx plus c, what does our star look like? What goes in the top? The C. Alright, what goes in the bottom? The B. And then X and X. And what goes in the bottom left and right? Look at you, take a point. And it's two numbers that multiply to give us B and add to give us C. Because it's squared.
He doesn't have fours.
Yeah, it's because it's squared. Other than that, I got nothing. If you would like to find that out, I'll give you bonus points. Alright, this second. And Cameron's going to get off her phone. I can see you, I don't care. Alright, so if it's ax squared plus bx plus c, what goes in the top? AC. And what goes in the bottom? B. And then remember it's AX and AX. And it's our factors again, but what do we have to do to our star when it's in this form? Reduce. Take a point. This was just like 1 unit ago. It was just like a week and a half. Come on, guys. Alright, so you have to first make sure the quadratic is equal to 0 because we're looking for our zeros. We have to factor using GCF or the star method, and then we're going to solve for x. So this is the new part where you split up, and we're going to talk about what happens here. Split parentheses. And then we find the axis of symmetry and vertex like we've been doing if we want to graph, which I'm probably going to make you do on all of them. What's that grunt for? Is graphing so terrible? Yeah. Baby. Alright, we ready for number 1? So on our example, what's the first thing we need to do? And does it equal 0? So what do we do? Good, take a point. So we get x squared minus 6x minus 27 equals 0. Alright, now what do we do? We use the star method because we don't have a GCF, right? Alright, so step 2 is the star method. What goes in the top of our star? Negative 27. What goes in the bottom? And x and x because we don't have an a. So what two numbers multiply to give us negative 27 and add to give us negative 6? Look at us go. Take a point. And so then I write it as x minus 9 times x plus 3, and it's equal to 0 because it's still part of this equation. So this is the part where we haven't done before. We have just found our factors and we've written it like that, but now it's equal to 0 because we're looking for where y equals 0. And normally when we've been solving a quadratic, it's been equal to y. So now here comes the split. What you do is you take x minus 9 and you set it equal to 0, and you take x plus 3 and you set it equal to 0, and then you solve for x. And that gives you your x-intercept. So for our first x-intercept, what does x equal? And for our second x-intercept, what does x equal? Negative 3. Those are your solutions. Ta-da! Technically, you'd be done if I wasn't going to make you graph. But we're going to graph. Why are you making that face like I just murdered your soul? Yes, ma'am. Because you would subtract 3 right here from both sides. Because it's a positive 3. That's a good question. All right, so for the fourth step, can anybody tell me or remember how to find the axis of symmetry?
B divided by, no, negative B.
Yes. Good, take a point. You were killing it this morning, so why are you making that face? Why? Would it make you feel better if I told you that I failed her in my race this weekend and that I can barely walk?
I felt like I was doing worse.
It's really bad. My knees are like all scraped up and swollen. It was funny afterwards. It was very scary at the moment. I didn't land on the belly, so that's good. All right, what's the opposite of B? So if B is negative 6, what's the opposite of that? All right, divided by 2 times 1. So what's our axis of symmetry? 3. And then we need our vertex. So how do we get that? Plug it in. Take a point. All right, what's 3 squared? And what's 9 minus 18? And what's negative 9 minus 27? Ham sandwich. Do we really want to graph that? Okay. So that's it. That's all you do. So do you think you could follow those steps and do number 2? Or do you want to do one more together? One more together? Okay. Does anybody have any questions on number 1? Yes.
How did you get minus 27?
Right here?
Yeah.
Because we needed to move this positive 27 over here. So if it's a positive, what's the opposite of positive? Negative. Yeah, so you just subtract it from both sides. That's a good question. Any other questions? All right, let's look at number 2. Maybe we can graph this one. It shouldn't be too giant. We shall see. All right, what's the first thing that we need to do? Okay, so we're going to add 18 this time. And why would we add 18? Good. Benji, are you alive? Okay, we're on the second problem. Have you written that down? Cool. All right, what's step 2, Taters? Oh, okay. I was just kind of muttering at me this morning. All right, so what goes on the top of our star? And the bottom? And x and x. What 2 numbers? Multiply to give us. Look at us go. It's almost like we don't need the star anymore. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's why the star is there to help us. All right, so we have x plus 9 times x plus 2, and we set it equal to 0. What is step 3? Split it. So we say x plus 9 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. Ooh, we may have to go to the back of our paper for 3 and 4. So what's our first x-intercept? Yes. And what's our second x-intercept? Good. Everybody take a point for the second one. Marble, you get a point for the first one. How do we feel so far? Why? Because it's Monday and we're tired? I'll be here. All right. So the last thing I want us to find is our what? Axis of symmetry, because I want us to be able to graph. So we do the opposite of B divided by 2 times A. Our B here is 11. What's the opposite of 11? Negative 11 divided by 2 times 1. All right, and what's negative 11 divided by 2? Thank you. And then what else do I need to find? The vertex. And how do I find my vertex? Plug everything back in. All right, plug that in. Tell me what you get. Negative 12.25? Did anybody else get negative 12.25? Okay. Do we really want to graph that? Cool. Let's go to number 3. Could you graph it if I forced you to? No? Why? Because of the decimals? Oh, we are going to persevere in the face of danger, children. Go to the back of this. We're going to graph this one. Sorry about your life. Can't change your answer now. All right, so this is 70B. We need to practice, right? If you're not good at it, we need to practice and make sure we can do it. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to do about that. I can rip one of my pieces out and I'll share with you. Okay. All right, number 2. So let's write down what our x-intercepts were. What was our first x-intercept? Negative 9. Good. Take a point. What was our second x-intercept? Good. What was our axis of symmetry? All right. And what was our vertex? All right, so it was negative 5.5, comma 12.25. Are we ready? No? Okay. I can pause. I can check this email that just came across. Oh, it's a negative? Thank you. Take a point. Are we ready now? Okay. What is happening? Can you wait?
No, I have to. It's not coming out.
Oh, it's so early. Okay, let's do this. All right, I don't need very far on the positive on the x-axis, do I? I basically need all my negatives. So I'm going to put this here. X, Y. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plot my x-intercepts because those are the easiest thing to plot, right? So we go left 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ham sandwich 9. Did not make this long enough. And then what's...
Teachers, can I have your attention, please? I need the following.
What's my other x-intercept?
To the main office.
Okay.
Please listen carefully, students. I need Ebony Gaddis, Tanea Miller, Carson Burke, Avery Forrest, Tobias Shelfer, Emily Standifer.
Here we go. So we've plotted our x-intercepts. Now I want us to plot our axis of symmetry. So it's at negative 5.5. So we're going to go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then halfway. Now, do we put a point there, or do we just put our vertical line? Vertical line. Do not put a point there yet. Now, the reason that I will... Let's finish plotting this, and then I'll finish my speech. So our vertex is at negative 5.5 and negative 12.25, right? Is everybody okay with what we just did? Are you okay? Are you sure? You better not lie to me, because we're doing this for you, boo-boo. All right, so we're going to go left, negative 5.5, and then down 12.25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And where would 0.25 be? When you just go down a little bit. Okay, so just go down a little bit and put a dot. Now, what we learned last week when we were graphing these is from our vertex we would go up 1, right 1, up 4, right 2, correct? But if we go up 1 and right 1, that's going to be a really weird number, isn't it? So that's why we're finding our x-intercepts. So that all we have to do now is connect this in a U, and we don't have to figure out those other points. So the factoring will help when you can't graph it smoothly, when you can't go up 1, right 1, because it's going to be at icky numbers. Are you ready to do it? Can you try number 3 without me? And we can work number 3 completely out on the back if you want, if you don't have enough room. 2x squared plus 9x minus 18 equals 0. Just get the factoring part done first on number 3. 2x squared plus 9x minus 18 equals 0. So just factor this one first, and then we'll graph. Bless your soul. All right, what 2 numbers did we get? 12 and negative 3? Okay. And then this reduces to x and 6. So you get x plus 6 times 2x minus 3 equals 0. Did anybody go ahead and split and find your intercepts? Okay. So what's your first intercept? So this is step 1. That was step 2. What'd you get for your intercepts? Negative 6 and you would add 3 divided by 2. Come on, guys. Thank you. All right, can you do the axis of symmetry without me? Do the axis of symmetry without me, and then we're going to graph it. And we'll graph together just to be safe. And then negative 9 divided by 4 is negative 2 point what? 25? Okay. And then what is your vertex? What? Ooh, that's gross. All right, let's not graph that one then. Because what are we trying to find ultimately with these? What's our goal? The solutions. Our learning target was I can solve by factoring. So to solve, you have to be able to find the solutions. If you can do number 4, you have no homework tonight. And then tomorrow we're putting it all together. The graphing, the factoring, solving, all the goods.